Welcome to another episode of You Are Already Successful. You, yes, you, right now. I got a special guest on the show today. I've known this dude for 10 plus years. He's an entrepreneur, batting cage owner. He has partnerships with different schools and athletes that are scouted. Also my business partner, and something else that y'all hear more about. And just a real chill, calm, cool dude. One of the calmest, chillest dudes that you'll probably ever meet. Andre Hockaday, welcome to the show, bro.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. This episode is brought to you by On Deck, Batting Cage. Already Successful is On Deck. There's a collaboration, and we actually are on deck in the facility right now as we speak in the batting cage. So this is cool to be here and do this here. So thanks for being on the show. I just ran off a couple of accomplishments that come to mind, and I know there's a ton of them. Mm-hmm. Anything I missed? Anything you want to share or add?
Accomplishments or just like things I got going on right now?
All of it. If you want to drop it.
You pretty much summed it up, but I got a couple of other things going on. Like when the summertime comes around, it's going to be pretty litty. I got for the motorcycle riders, I got a business on how to do wheelies and ride dirt bikes. So that's going to be pretty dope. Accomplishments, I guess we'll get into like the history and things like that, where I came from and other businesses I accomplished to make me get where I'm at today. But yeah, that's it for the most part.
Yeah, that's what's up. We definitely will get into all of that. And speaking of where you come from and that upbringing, mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like where, what's your upbringing like? Like where did your business mind come from? Because you run a bunch of different businesses and in charge of a bunch of different things. Like where did that stem? Where did that come from?
Basically, man, I honestly think it came from like my family. My whole family are hustlers, right? Like whether it be like legal, illegal, whatever. You know what I mean? Like my father, he was like, my father was in the Air Force, did 20 years in the Air Force, retired from the Air Force and did 20 more years with the Postal Service. Like, damn. That's a hustler, you know what I'm saying? So
facts.
It's in my blood, you know what I mean, to kind of like get money, get your business right. My cousins, like I said, whether it be legal or illegal, you know what I mean? But it's, like I just come from a plethora of hustlers and people that just was about their business, just getting money and just wanted to do things on their own. So it kind of just flowed in me naturally. At a young age, like when I was probably 18, 19, I knew that I wanted to do like accounting work, because I was in school for it. But I knew I didn't want to work for anybody. Mm. So that was kind of always my struggle of business and, finding my way and finding who I am, finding about what do I want to do, right? So my very first job was working at CVS. And then I got into like the corporate America once I went to college and did all that, whatever. And then my first business was a moving company. Mm. So that was back then I was doing a little something. I had a little pickup truck, doing a little hauling here and there. People would ask me, can I move their 1-bedroom apartment with my 1983 Ford pickup truck that didn't have heat? So It just started from there.
Got the job done.
Yeah, it just started from there, and yeah, that was it.
So I never knew. So your first business was the dump truck.
The pickup truck. It was a pickup truck. I bought a pickup truck, and I was like, I'm about to make some money with this joint. And at first I was like hauling junk, and then people would ask me to move their 1-bedroom apartments, right? That's what I was doing.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Like, so you bought the truck with the intentions of, I'm gonna make money off of this truck.
Yeah, strictly. That was it. I don't even. And you know what's funny? I don't even think I had a car. My aunt gave me my first car. Right. Shout out to my aunt, man. Like she held me down.
What's your aunt's name?
My aunt Sharon.
Shout out Aunt Sharon. You know, Aunt Sharon is
drop a bomb for her. Yeah, drop a bomb for her.
Yeah, man. I gotta find. I'm still learning this, Joe. Hold on, it's coming. Hold on, here's the bomb.
It's coming, Sharon.
Sharon.
It's coming.
I got you, Aunt Sharon. That's for Aunt Sharon.
Hey, just a sidebar, real quick. My aunt was a hustler, right? But she was also on drugs, right? So it was surprising that she gave me a car. You know what I'm saying? But she was it was almost like she knew something that everybody else didn't know, or, you know what I mean? She saw something in me that was like, this dude is going to get it. She gave me a car. It was a station wagon. It was a manual shift station wagon. You know what I'm saying? So, that she gave me that, and I was using that. And then when I was working at CVS, when I was working corporate job, doing like account, what was I doing? Like billing. I was doing billing, and I bought the pickup truck to make money because I knew billing wasn't the way that I wanted to live. I was like, this is not it.
Which is interesting because you still have a hand in billing and finance. Like,
I do.
And that finance and billing background and mindset, I think further like helped propel you to where you are in a different stuff. Because every business has that to it.
Yeah.
So like you were groomed and like made money learning a way to then branch out and build your businesses.
Yeah. Shout out to Georgetown.
Yeah, shout out.
I spent 14 years at Georgetown, my dude. 14 years. And let me tell you, they taught me so much stuff, bruh. So much stuff. Yeah. And, I'm using it now. Like you said, I'm doing, contracting work, doing billing, revenue cycle. So, it's, what is it? At least 7 streams of income, 7 streams of revenue. Yeah, you gotta get it, man.
You there? Shout out again to Georgetown. So I'm still with MedStar, so I'm limited on what I could say. But what I would say is that good and bad. You know what I'm saying? I think we learned a lot from like working a job, and there's something to be said about like you could work a job, make money, have income coming in, and then learn and use. Essentially, you're getting paid to do a job, right? Yeah. So if you take those skills and you are ambitious enough to say, I'm going to take this and then duplicate it where I run it and I'm at the top. Because you'll never be at the top of an organization, you know what I'm saying, unless it's yours that you create.
Exactly.
And then you're able to make money, good money, and then pull and not get the golden handcuffs where essentially people get locked into those jobs because that's all that they see. But then you were able to use that for your own stuff. So that's where we actually ran in to each other at Georgetown. Yeah, and that was like over 10 years ago.
That was 2008, bro.
That was 2008?
2008.
Damn.
Can we get a bomb for that one? Let me get a drop a bomb for that one.
I got to drop another bomb for that. That's an old bomb right there.
You're right.
At least some old heads. 2008. I didn't realize, I guess it was that long. And I worked for MedStar since 2006, so I'm going on 16 years next month.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
Nice.
It's nice. But yeah, that's where we met, and I knew, like, I don't know if you remember this story, but one of the, there's a plenty of stories that we have. Shout out to everybody that was in our class, the class of 08 through like 2010. Yeah. Man, that was some fun times where we were all working. It was like work was hanging out. We were hanging out at the same time. We were working and we did our work. Yeah. And then I remember at a lunch break, because it was in Georgetown, we would go off to like Pentagon. Mm-hmm. And then we'd go to like M Street and walk around M Street. Yeah. And there was a conversation me and you had back then. I don't know if you remember this, but we were walking on the street and we were like, hold up. This is all life is about. We don't got to get the biggest or the best of anything, but like we saw people living their lives, walking in the middle of the day without a care in the world. And they were just strolling, and we were on lunch break, so we got to go back to lunch. But they just out there strolling just because that's what they did. And I think without even us actually talking about it and confirming it, like I think made up in our minds that this is what we're working towards. It's not going to be about like the biggest or the best of anything. It's going to be like finding that where everything is covered, our bills and everything are covered, and then we could just walk the streets. Yeah. And call our own shots without having to report back to the boss or go back into work. Yeah. And it's interesting to see like where we are fast forward, over 10 years, that like we've gone in that direction where essentially where we are now is kind of a product of that mindset that we had back then. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's pivotal points in your life, right? There's pivotal points in your life where they define what you're going to do, who you are, and where you're going to go. And that was one of my pivotal points in my life where it was like, we would, like you say, we would be on lunch break, walking to Georgetown, and people would just be out shopping with regular clothes on. And we had on like suits and stuff. And so that was like one of the pivotal points in my life. And then, I don't know, I'm pretty sure I've told you this before. I shared this with you before. But there was the Dame Dash interview on Breakfast Club, right?
Last name?
Huh?
The last name?
The last.
Where he was talking about the last name?
Where he's like, you're not a boss unless you can get your son a job or your kids a job or something like that. He asked him, can the DJ get his son a job where he worked? And he was like, yeah, I can get my son a job. He was like, no, do you have to ask someone to get your son a job? And he was like, yeah, I got to ask somebody. And that stuck out. That hit me hard, bro. Because I was like, yeah, I probably can get my son a job at Georgetown. Probably was the key word, right? Probably. Nah. That was key. So that's where I am right now. That was another pivotal point besides that walking the streets of Georgetown. Yeah. Like those two pivotal points was like, this is not it.
Yeah. But it's that peer pressure too, right? Because I think like, I'll say it from my perspective. I don't know how it is from you, but it's like iron sharpens iron. So like I see you and like, you know what I'm saying, and reach and continue to push it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm about to do stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that friendly competition where it's all love, but at the same time, who you surrounding yourself with is who's going to motivate you or who's going to have you like complacent and chill. And I think we've always been in that. In a way that, again, it's important to understand that you're already successful, so not getting caught up in like what somebody else is doing. Right. But the balance of it, where it's like not just being surrounded with people that's not trying to do nothing, because essentially that's going to mean that you're not going to do nothing, or they're going to be looking to you. But like even the Dame Dashes or different interviews or podcasts that I listen to and motivational speakers that I listen to, it's like something to be said about who you surround yourself with and what you are listening to and what you're letting influence you. And it doesn't have to be somebody that you know. Like we're right here, you know what I'm saying? We've known each other for a minute, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like if you listen to the right stuff, you know what I'm saying? Your focus is going to be that way. If you are you know, ambitious enough because somebody like a Dame Dash is saying like, yeah, just jump out there and do it and figure it out. And that's all you keep hearing. You more so, you know, gonna go take that chance and the shot, you know, attempt. You can only, what they say, you can only score if you shoot.
Right. Or you, yeah.
So if you don't take the shot, like you're gonna miss 100% of the shots that you never take.
Right.
So, and I think that's part of it too, where sometimes we get kind of complacent, whether we in a good job, you know what I'm saying? Like we make good money on, you know, on our, I guess our 9 to 5s.
Yeah.
That, you know, you would say like, yeah, that's good, just do that. But at the same time, there's more in that we want to control and that we want to do for ourselves and our community, which is a good segue into On Deck, which we're about to talk about, the batting cage.
Yeah.
But shout out to your aunt again, because I think it's cool that she started you off with the car that helped you flip it to a truck that then gave you, she was already out, like you were surrounded by people that was hustling and just grinding. Same like me, my upbringing with my parents. And then she actually sponsored your first business. Yeah. And then like once you get started and you learn it and figure out what works, like you adapted, it sounds like you started it to haul trash, and then you're like, hold on, I can use the same thing to ship people and move. Yeah. I can make money that way too. Yeah. But it's also kudos to you for thinking about how to get money in a legal way. Yeah. Because a lot of times people like, you know, from the communities that we come from, it depends on what you're exposed to. Yeah. You was exposed to hustlers, you was exposed to, you know what I'm saying? I know, you know, your mom and dad, you know what I'm saying, good people with their heads on. Yeah. They steered you in a way to channel that hustler in you, right, as stuff that you could have went and did it another way. So yeah, let me tell you, man, like I have a story, right, where
there was this opportunity, right? It was before I got my first real job, right? And it was kind of slow. I was looking at a job. I was waiting for them to call me back, and it took a while. It took some time, right, and with the process. So I was hanging with some people, and they were doing some illegal stuff, right? So it was like they had just started. It was like, hey, I'm going to stand right here and see what this joint pop. The very next day, bro, I got a call from Georgetown. Damn. The very next day, and they was like, what you going to do? I said, I'm going to go ahead and take this joint, man. Is that the job where we met each other at? Or No, that was actually pubs. So that was 2000. That was 2002. Got it. That was 2002, right? Yeah, that was 2002. I feel like 2000, yeah. That was 2002. So it was like they had called me the very next day, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and take this joint. You know, it was, in all honesty, for real, like if I was already in it, I probably wouldn't have taken it because I was going for money, the money, right? I saw the potential what they were going to do, and eventually they was making all types of money, but you know it didn't last long, right? But I think when Georgetown called me, and I was like, wow, damn, yeah, and for that to sync up that like that, yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, bro. that's guys sending like, yeah, man, but you never lost that hustle, right? You just channeled it somewhere, right. And that's a message too, because it's like if you're a hustler and you come from that, you can channel that in the right direction where you're safe. You ain't got to watch your back. Yeah, like it's so many risks associated with that, right? You got to watch out for the police. You got to watch out for your own people. You got to watch out for all kinds of stuff, and it's just so much more risk, and it always ends up catching us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We see it play 100%. Out over and over again that it's enticing because of what it offers. It's like right there. Yeah. But if you look at it in totality, then it's like it's not even worth it and it's not even close. Yeah. But like what you're paving and showing is like, is the possibilities of like when you rechannel and redirect it,
which again, we come into On Deck now.
Yeah.
And, you know, jumping right in with On Deck, I mean, On Deck is the only black-owned batting cage, the only batting cage, period, in Prince George's County.
Yeah, for sure. Can I get a bond for that?
Yeah, you got to get a bond for that, man. Come on. Get another bond. Got some air horns. Yeah, man. That's huge, bro.
Yeah, man. This is my third year with On Deck location. But before that, I did have like On Deck, like just like mobile baseball machines, right? So it all started with my son. My son plays baseball, right? He was an athlete, so he played every sport. And then when he was like 12, this basketball coach was like, hey, look, he needs to choose one sport. You know what I mean? So he can focus on that. And I was like, all right, I understand that. So I let him choose. He chose baseball. And I said, all right, so if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, we're not going to put 50% into it or 25 or 75. We're going to do it 100%. So, you know, we were focused and we were going to like batting cages and going to coaches and things like that. But the thing is, the batting cages, we were living on Maryland Avenue in Northeast at the time, right? So there is no batting cages to go to in DC. There aren't. There's a couple cages. Right. For batting. Right. So there aren't any cages in DC. Then we moved to PG County, and there aren't any. Cages in PG County. So we would have to go to Alexandria, Virginia, right? So we were going to Alexandria, Virginia, and this was, you know, prior to the pandemic, and, you know, the pandemic's, you know, dwindling down, but the traffic was horrendous trying to get to, like, Alexandria, right? We would spend probably 45 minutes in traffic just trying to go to a batting cage, just to spend maybe like 20 to 30 minutes. And so I was like, there's got to be another way. And basically the type of person I am, when I walk into an establishment, I start counting pockets, bro. So I'm like, hey, what? There's no, like, I could be on like 8th Street and be like, I want some breakfast food, and I don't see any breakfast places, and I'd be like, all right, 8th Street needs a breakfast spot. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I always had that business mentality. And that's how what it was with the batting cage. So there wasn't any batting cage, so I was like, all right, I'm going to just make my own. So I made my own. Put it in the backyard. We were living in PG, put it in the backyard. And then I was like, this could be something. Saved up my coins and started doing a lot of research. Research is key, man. Like, research is everything when you're in business, man.
Facts.
It can make you or break you. Because you would think you'd be the only one doing something, and it'd be 15 other people doing the same thing. Man.
Right. But man, hold on, because that's a lot to unpack right there. Like, anybody that knows Andre, right? If you know Andre, then you know he does everything big. Like, he ain't just like, oh yeah, I'm about to try something. Like, nah, it's gonna be official. It's gonna look like, you know what I'm saying, some millions was put behind it. That's just how he operates. And that's how he's always been. Everybody that knows him knows that. But how you look at something, I think, is interesting and telling, right? Because you don't look at it with the perspective like everybody else is like, oh yeah, that's cool, let me go. Yeah. You're like, nah, hold up. How are they profiting? Or like, how could I flip this? Yep. Or what's the need? Because I think the average person looks at it and is like, damn, I got to go all the way out to get to a batting cage. All right, it is what it is. What's the closest one? Yeah. But that hustler in you, that's like just been growing, like, because as you expand and like evolve and learn more, it just grows. And you've been feeding that where you're looking at problems differently. And I think that's part of my, like, I think that's kind of what helped us even in the corporate world, because we were, you know what I'm saying, growing in the corporate world. And it was like, I talked to a lot of people where they, it's funny, like people now that would back then that would clown you like, oh yeah, you and now they like, yo, you got a job, you know what I'm saying? It's the same, but like regardless of that, it's like I would always tell people, look at stuff, right? Problems, opportunities, or if you get asked to do something more and that's not actually your job, then you get the chance to learn that thing and kind of have your hands clean, because you can't really mess it up. It wasn't your job, you know what I'm saying? But if you want the next job, people are looking for people with experience. So I think flipping it back to the business, your business mentality is like, you were looking at opportunities and problems as like opportunities.
Yep.
Like, hold on, I got to travel this far.
Yeah.
I can't be the only one that's looking for.
Yeah.
So hold on, if I create this, then what? Not only do I meet the need, but I did something about the problem.
Right. Exactly. That, and on top of that, also, like you say, when I do something, I do it at 100%, and also wanted to put a spin on it, right? Because the batting cages that we went to were like just dull and boring or whatever. You know what I mean? So when I created On Deck, I wanted to put some couches in this joint, put some TVs up, and almost make it like a Top Golf for baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's still room to grow. Shout out to me getting a liquor license. Who's ever listening, let me help.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So so it's sky's the limit when you just got a hustler mentality.
And even when you start something, you always looking to refine it and tweak it. Yeah. Because it's like, all right, I'm not satisfied.
Yep.
I'm satisfied, right? Because again, my overall message is like, don't be too unsatisfied where you like feel uncomfortable and like you less than. But like once you realize that you're already successful, even from way back when, when you bought the dump truck. Yeah. You know what I mean? That breeds a certain amount of confidence where you like walk into the next thing. So when I say like always refining, because some people, I've gotten some feedback where it's like, oh, you telling people they're already successful, like they shouldn't strive. And I'm like, I want to be clear about the message, right? Yeah. That it's not, don't continue to get better or don't pay attention to the stuff you need to improve. But like, don't let that overwhelm you where you like walking chest down, like, your chest in, head down. Because you can't go off to do anything great like that. Yeah. But if you realize, like, forget the money, like the situation I've been through, like that's gonna let you straighten up some. Don't matter if a billionaire walk in here, you're gonna talk to him just like this. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, he's just a man like us, and then you can walk into more opportunities. But you kept refining the thing, right? You kept enhancing it. I mean, it's like a lounge in here. The people that know us and know me, I had my birthday here for the past 2 years. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's literally like a lounge experience. It's different from any other type of batting cage, but it's because of that mentality, because it didn't have to be that way. Yeah. But
and it's so the funny, like you mentioned, right? The funny thing about success, right? And people say you give them a hard time or whatever, or success to me is confidence, right? If you have confidence, you're already successful. Because confidence, you can do whatever you want with confidence. So once you build that confidence up, you're successful.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? And then like with being comfortable, it's okay to be comfortable for a while, but then it's time to get uncomfortable. It's time to say, "What's next?" I mean, I don't know. That's how I operate.
That's a perfect plug for the merch. You know what I'm saying? Got the uncomfortable material on.
Drop a bomb for that, Joe.
You got to drop a bomb for that, Joe. I'm saying, like, I agree about the confidence, right? Because you need confidence to be successful. I think 100. The question to be more successful, right? Because I believe everybody is already successful. Yeah. And I really believe that. It's not just like something catchy to get people's attention. Yeah. Like I really believe everybody's already successful, even if it's an experience. Even if you have a dime, you don't have a dime to your name. If you don't have a dime to your name, if you've been making it, you're successful. You know what I'm saying? That's tough to do when you're doing it. So like, If you got to boil it all the way down and start there, then start there. But once you realize that you're successful, then I think that's where that confidence comes from. Because then you're like, how else do you get the confidence? You got to realize like what you already have, not by what you own or by buying something else or doing something else. It's like, hold on, first realize that your experiences that you've been through, the achievements that you've done already make you successful. And then when you realize that, then you start to slowly like straighten up. And then I think the importance is reflecting. Because I think oftentimes like us as a community, we don't reflect enough. We're kind of off as a society, as a whole. We're only looking straight. Yeah. And that goalpost keeps moving. And then it's like, we're always running at it. But if we take a minute to like look back, you know what I'm saying? Like, I reflect all the time now, and it's like, man, I done been through some stuff. Forget the, money and all of that stuff. Is like, look at the experiences that I've been through, and then it's it kind of straightens you up, and you can kind of go off and do more beyond that.
Yeah, and speaking to piggyback off reflecting, right? It's awesome to reflect. But you can't have any regrets, right? Everything I've been through, everything I've done, every single person I've met, I'd have no regrets about. Nothing. Because I've learned from every single situation. So if you came to in my life at some point and I ain't even like you, and you ain't like me,
you helped me learn.
Thank you, G. Thank you. Nah, but for real, like, no regrets, man. Yeah. Like, how much money I blown on buying stuff and just incorrect things. It's all a learning experience, bro.
That, you know what? I never really thought about it from that angle. That's a really good point to bring out, because I think not only do we not reflect, but when we do reflect, we're regretting.
Yeah.
And I think like, you can reflect, but if you feel bad about what you did and not let that encourage you, then all of a sudden you're not chest out, like you continue to shrink and you feel worse. But like, I never thought about it. That's really good to point out, because regret goes against like confidence.
It lowers your morale. It takes away from your confidence. So you just got to own it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But one of my business things was to like sell T-shirts, right? My mom gave me a G. She went half with me. There was like $2,000 worth of T-shirts.
Shout out Mama Hawk.
Yeah, Mama Hawk. Mama Hawk looked out, man. She held me down. She gave me a G for like, she was like, I believe in you, whatever. To this day.
She said, I believe in you, whatever?
I believe in you, whatever. Here it is. Here it is.
I got you.
She was like, and like, she never asked for that money back. You know what I mean? And to this day, I still got those shirts, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but no regrets, man. It's like, I'm probably going to send them joints to Africa or something. You know what I mean? Send them, you know what I'm saying? Or just like give them away at a function, you know what I mean? Or a promotional event, just like throwing T-shirts away, you know what I mean? But I don't have any regrets about that.
But that's a real good story, right? Because like, she sponsored you to get shirts because you wanted to do shirts. You started out before you hit here and had facilities. You started out mobile. I remember when you was mobile, you had the merch. You had on deck shirts. So like, even though those shirts might still be there, like that probably influenced, like, you know what I'm saying? That gave you the jump to dabble in that, to say like, all right, now I got something big going on and I'm gonna attach the product to it. I mean, you got merch, you got jackets, you got hats. Shout out some of the merch. You got merch all over this jump.
Real quick, man, let me tell you, like, when I first started on deck, right, I ran across this coach. This coach, he was telling me, he was like, shout out Coach Hall, man. He was like, he said, hey, if you're gonna do something, brand it. Brand yourself. Yourself is the brand. You are the brand. Brand it. He said, I go to the store. He owns some baseball club, right? and he always wore it on his shirt. He always had the hoodie. Always wore it. He said, I can go to the gas station, to the supermarket, to the club. I'm wearing this. And people are going to be like, oh, that's the baseball guy. So every time they see him, they know that's the baseball guy. Let me give him a call. Oh, I know somebody that want to play. Yeah. Let me do that. Let me do that. So now that helped me to be like, all right, I got merch. It's all for me. Yeah. Like I can sell it or I can wear it. But I got merch for days, man. And you know, I deal with a lot of people, and a lot of people be like, that's all you gonna wear? Yeah.
It's my product. It's your version of Nike. But like, that's the thing, right? Because it's like looking at that, and it's like breaking that thought process, because I'm the same way now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm wearing, you know what I'm saying, my merch.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, right? I think for this hat, to get this hat made, it was a price. I ain't even gonna share the price. But right, it costs something to get it made. Yeah. And it's yours.
Yeah.
And if I went out and bought like a Wizards hat, Wizards hat, or a Commander's hat, then I'm paying higher than what it would cost me to put my own merch on there. Yeah. And if I feel good about what I'm supporting and it points back to my business and I can rock it, I'm rocking a hat anyway, it'd be mine, then like you're plugging yourself. But then that's how you can layer your own multiple businesses on top of your brand to make, you know what I'm saying, your brand stronger.
Yep. And it goes back to confidence. Like if you're not going to wear your own stuff, why should I wear your stuff? You know what I mean? You think Michael Kors out here wearing Gucci?
Right.
Nah.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Michael Kors probably saw Gucci and was like, I'm going to make some Michael Kors.
Man.
And put my own name. And that's all we doing.
Listen, and people, you know, I don't mean to cut you off.
Nah, you good.
Nah, man, but people, you know, they create their merch and, you know, they won't even wear their merch or like they just, I don't know, man. Yeah,
quick commercial. If you got merch and you're not wearing it, wear your merch. If your merch isn't good enough for you,
wear your merch.
It ain't good enough for me. Okay? I'm not wearing your merch if you're not wearing it. All right? Get behind your merch 100%. And if you can't get behind it, then you need to get some new merch, man. But that's a bar, because it doesn't make sense to wear somebody else and advertise for somebody else. We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I'm saying, especially in today's day and age, in this day and age, you go to the same mall where you bought the fitted cap, and you go with your own message or brand and throw it on there. It's going to come out cheaper than what it is to get the ball cap. Yeah. And just rock that hat.
Dude, they're the way the internet is set up now, man, the way you can be like you can find out if I bought a Gucci shirt, looked at the label, Googled the label, found out who made that shirt, who actually made the shirt, like for the material, and be like, all right, I can get that material and just go to the supplier and put my brand on it.
Thanks.
It doesn't, but you know, so the only thing you're paying for is a brand, right? And you just put your own brand on it, but you got the same quality, good quality material. The internet is a monster, man.
But you more than the logo that you put on the material, you put your mind on that first. Right. Yeah. And you know, that's kind of what I wanted to share with the audience and the guests, is like, when you surrounded by this, you know what I'm saying, and this is in your circle, this is the kind of conversation that you have, and it makes you look at stuff differently, and it challenges you. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you got merch and you're not wearing it. You know what I'm saying? You better put your merch on. You know what I'm saying? And you need that to kind of sharpen, you know, to stay sharp and to push the envelope, because, you know, it does. We've just been advertising for other people for so long that the reason that, you know, obviously with Jordans and with Michael Jordan, and but the reason that there's certain like Gucci's and all of that is so hot is because people advertise for it.
Free advertisement.
And he charged top dollar for it. Yeah. Where you can get your own on for the price of way less.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
So yeah, man. So okay. So going back to the batting cage, right?
Yep.
And I think like your twist on it is unique because not only did you see the problem and you like solved it locally, not just for you, but for everybody here, that immediately helps your son who plays baseball.
Yeah.
Like baseball is one of those sports, right? Mm-hmm. Where people from our community, it's not a lot of black people in baseball.
It's not, man.
In fact, I looked it up. It's 7%.
7%, bro.
Of players in baseball are African American.
Yeah.
And so I think it's probably good to note too, like the people that look black, they're probably Spanish or something like that. Right, so I think like the stats say like 7% is African American, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because we're athletic.
Yeah.
You know, but most times we go to, it's either basketball or football.
Yeah.
But what's crazy too is that baseball isn't as labor intensive as like those others. I've seen fat people play baseball, man.
Yeah. So the thing about baseball.
Yeah, educate me because I don't want to get nothing wrong.
All right. So the thing about baseball, baseball at one point was America's sport, right? Like my father told me that, I never knew this until I actually got into baseball, but he told me that they used to sit around like the radio and listen to baseball, like when he was young, right? So, I don't know what year that was, but baseball used to be the number one sport, right? And a lot of black people played baseball. A lot of black people played baseball. It was the number one sport.
Yeah.
And then like basketball and football came on the scene with a more entertaining and like excitement to it, which is nothing wrong. There's no knock on baseball and football. I love it. It was part of the reason I got into it. Sidebar, just when working at Georgetown, I knew I wanted to get into some type of sports, right? And I was thinking about a couple of different things. But baseball is the one that stuck out to me, but I'm just a sports enthusiast. But so baseball with what is the generation?
You asking the wrong.
I forgot that.
It's one of the just say one of the generations.
One of the older generations.
Yeah,
I think they're like 60 plus, right?
Okay.
Baseball was huge with them, and then it kind of like dwindled out with the Michael Jordans and the Barry Sanders of football and the Bo Jacksons and all that. So baseball historically, well now, baseball isn't fun to watch, right? By a lot of people, especially black people, especially because there's not a lot of going back and forth. There's not a lot of interceptions. There's not a lot of turnovers. Yeah. You get your turn, you get your 3 strikes, you get your 3 outs, and then you're out. You got to switch. You know what I mean? So it's more of a one-on-one, pitcher versus the batter. And that can, depending on who you ask, that can be, a little boring. But to me, I loved it. I fell in love with it. Mainly because my son was playing and it was exciting to see him play, right? So I think if more people just had like that hands-on with baseball, they would kind of understand it more. But because they don't have that hands-on, it's kind of hard to understand. But I say all that to say like, I'm bringing baseball back, baby.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was going, right? Because it's like what makes On Deck so dope to me, not only like how it came about, like you just doing what you did, but also like we talked about earlier, exposure. Right. It all boils down like you only could be interested in what you were exposed to.
Right.
If you weren't exposed to it, then you can't really be interested. Right. And if you can't be interested, then that limits, if you weren't exposed to it, then that limits the potential.
Right.
So a lot of times we get only exposed to certain stuff.
Yeah.
So like our scope and we're looking at just these few options when like there's this many options.
Yeah.
And really like the exposure, like you allowing your son to play different sports, including baseball, then allows him to grow in what he wants and what he likes. Yeah. And then he could pick what he wants because he was exposed to it. Yeah. Baseball wouldn't be an option. Just like, we said, you miss all of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah.
baseball wouldn't be an option if he never got exposed to it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even know what he was good at or what he was missing.
Yeah.
But because we're not exposed to it enough, then we often don't even look that way. And there's so much money in baseball. It's crazy, like how much. I mean, I seen like, I think $500 million contracts.
400 million contract.
Crazy in baseball.
There's one dude, there's one dude as a pitcher, Max Scherzer, he used to play for the Nats. He now signed with the New York team, right? Max Scherzer makes $46 million a year, right? There are 5 baseball organizations that the whole team doesn't make that much.
Damn.
So they don't have a salary cap. So that's why I said that. But yeah, man, it's like you said, it's exposure, man. Like I'm the type of person, I always thought outside the box, right? And I always wanted to give my son whatever I didn't have, right? So I said, I'm gonna just put every single sport in front of you, and I'm gonna let you choose. Dude, we played hockey.
Damn.
We played hockey.
You exposed them to everything.
We played hockey, man.
I don't even know the stats for hockey, but it's probably like,
you know what I mean?
0.2%.
And like exposure. It's all about exposure.
Yeah.
People don't realize there's a hockey rink in the middle of Southeast.
Hell no.
Nobody knows that. And I'm talking about the heart of.
Yeah. I never knew that.
Eli Place hockey rink.
Oh, damn.
Off of Minnesota, between Minnesota and Benton Road, there's a hockey rink right there.
Probably, hey, cuz, you see that pile of snow over there? I never knew that. But too, real quick though, about like you said that one baseball player making $49 million a year. Yeah. Just to compare that, LeBron, I don't think makes $49 a year.
No.
With the Lakers.
No, I think LeBron make like 20.
Yeah.
Like 20.
Now he make a ton of money at other places, but like just to compare those two is crazy. But what were you saying?
I don't know.
My bad.
No, it's all good.
But there's a lot of potential in exposure. We were talking about exposure, right? The importance of it, and why I appreciate On Deck is that it is creating an environment that's fitting for our community and other communities. Because really, I mean, you look at music and hip hop and all of that stuff. Yeah. It appeals across to everybody. It's appealing. Right. And if we get involved in something and you put your touch on it and you create this lounge batting cage experience, that suits us, it makes it attractive to us, right? Because you can't just say, go try batting and expose yourself to it. Right. Like this place, this facility will lure you into it. Right. And then you start looking at it differently, and then you take a couple swings like, hold on, I'm actually pretty good. Yeah. I mean, we can swing. I mean, if we can do nothing else, we can swing.
Yeah, we're athletic.
We're athletic.
Yeah.
So
exposure. Exposure, man. And like when I created On Deck, I wanted to give a different take on baseball. I wanted people to see how I saw baseball. Like it's going to be fun. We can make it fun. We're athletic. We can thrive in this. And I think what would help a lot with On Deck when the Nationals won the World Series. Okay. A lot of black kids was like, we can play baseball. You know what I mean? Like, well, there's other things out there because also right now, like a lot of parents are not putting their kids in football right now, man, because of the concussions. Yeah. So they're looking to other sports, and they're coming to baseball. Yeah.
Because what's the most you get injured in well, like when you see people go out in the NFL, it's like concussion or broken ribs or like what's the most that happens in baseball?
You get hit with the ball.
It's like sprained finger.
And it's going to hurt. Oh, okay. I've gotten hit with the ball. It hurts, but I'm not brain dead. You know what I mean? Right. And not to say that all football players would be brain dead.
After when you retire, you have you can live out your retirement.
Right. Like you said, there's baseball players that weigh 300 pounds. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They can still swing, and they got more strength. Yeah. Because if you can hit it out the park, you can walk to first base. You can walk around the.
Yeah. So I just wanted to create a cool environment where you can learn and have fun at the same time.
Well, shout out because you created that. We sitting in it right now. Yeah. Talk to me about the fitness center. So you also, you like you said, you kept pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
How did that fitness center evolve? Because you've started another business.
Another one.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice
and
drop.
then
Nice drop.
That was kind of predictable.
Hey, but nah.
How did that come about?
Yeah. So being the only batting cage in PG County and basically DC, when I started, I knew I had something special, right? Mm-hmm. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're still a little weary, right? And you still want to be a little cautious. So I didn't jump all the way out there, right? So I got a nice spot where it's 2 lanes, and it can hold probably a baseball team, right? It wasn't enough, right? So I needed some overflow. And there was a spot in the same complex that became available. And I talked to the owner. He was like, man, you're doing your thing. You can have it if you want. And I was like, bet. So it's not as big as this spot right here. So I basically turned it into a athletic performance center. And I had like some football guys come out. I had some fitness guys come out, some fitness women come out. And, they just rent out the space. It's a rentable space. I even had like... what is it? What was it? It was a rap video. Somebody shot a rap video in there because it's kind of cool. Whatever I do, I didn't mean to yell in your mic, man, but
good.
Whatever I do,
passionate.
Whatever I do, man, like I'm gonna push it to the fullest, right? So it looks real slick in there, right? So they wanted to do a photo shoot in there. Somebody did a photo shoot in that joint. But right now, there's a guy in there. He rents it out full time now, and he's the boxing guy. Look him up on Instagram, man. He's the boxing guy. He's a professional boxer, and he trains people how to box. Women, men, and children. Shout out to my dude Vic, man.
Shout out.
So he got it set up in there. He got the punching bags, the bean bags. He got everything in there. So. I created that space originally for overflow during my busiest months, which is the wintertime, because there's nowhere to go outside. Mm-hmm. It's too cold. So during the wintertime, my people, the baseball people, rent it out. And then like once the weather starts to break, it starts to slow down for me. And then that's when I market heavily on things like Peerspace and just different other social medias, and people reach out and they just want to rent it out, right? So like I said, I got this boxing guy in there. He's doing his thing right now, the boxing guy. And that's how it came about, man.
But even with COVID, like you mentioned, like, how business picks up picks up in the wintertime when it's cold and everybody has to come indoors. COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And you actually figured out how to be safe and more profitable. Like your numbers went up. Yeah, man. And not the COVID numbers, like your volume and the activity coming in. Yeah. And I remember you even had like outdoor, like you opened up, and like explain like how that went.
Yeah, man. So COVID hit, and the landlord was like, yeah, that's cool and all, but I want my bread. And I was like, yeah, I got bills too, bro. So, that's when, your hustler mentality got to kick in, right? So it's like, all right, what am I going to do? Everybody else is closing, and I still got to do what I got to do. So basically, we did the appointment. So before COVID, you can just walk in, right? And we charge a certain rate. Once COVID hit, it was like, all right, we're going to be safe about this. We're going to have people mask up. We're going to have sanitizing spray. We're going to have all these different things to try to prevent, the outbreak or the spread of COVID, right? And then we went to appointment only. Because we went to appointment only, we were able to say, hey, you're getting a private cage or the private facility. And then the price went up, bro. That bag went
Today's
up.
price is not yesterday's price.
Today's price. So that bag went up, man, and it just created a different model.
Yeah.
To piggyback on that, though, real quick, man, it's like you can start out in a business, right, with a whole plan. And then that plan turns into something else and you start seeing money from elsewhere. Then you got to be able to switch up, adjust, right? When I first started on deck, I thought I was going to be marketing to 10, 11, 12-year-olds. That was my market on my research. Dude, I started, once we started getting rolling, it was high schools, colleges, and adults.
Yeah.
And now that I'm really starting to roll, I'm starting to see another market. It's the softball group, softball adults. So it's nothing but expansion, and it's all about adjusting to whatever you got going on. But I digress. Back to, when COVID, we just went private and we do appointment only. And people ate it up.
Nobody else is offering.
Nobody else was offering it, man.
Yeah.
And like Rose said, I got a bay door, and I always kept the bay door up. And people respected that. They was like, it's freezing in here, but we got some natural air coming in. You know what I mean? And then there was the outdoor. I put up the outdoor cage at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I limit the people that could be in here. But yeah, man, it's all about adjusting to whatever's going on.
That's an important thing to underline, right? Because it's like COVID didn't just happen. Another challenge and situation happened.
Yeah.
And then you can approach a challenge or situation one of two ways. Like, damn, might as well close up. Or you like, well, nah, forget that. Like, hold up. Let me use my hustler instinct in my mind to look at a problem, a new problem, and say, like, how can I finesse a maneuver so I come out winning? And actually you came out winning even more. And it changed and informed your business model now. And it's like, that lesson is important because, again, you use what you've been groomed with and what you've naturally have, and then look at problems differently. Not the same way that everybody else is looking at it, but look at how to come out of it. The glass half full versus like, what was me? Like, damn, I done started this thing and now all of this is happening. Because I think that having that grit is necessary. You're going to get hit with some stuff. And the only way you win or win more, can keep winning is by looking at those problems as a good thing, because everybody has them, right? And if you can be the one to solve it, you'll profit and win from it. Yeah.
And that's that, like I said, when I said everything happens for a reason, me working at Georgetown was able to help me problem solve because of the job that I was doing, revenue cycle. So I had to look at all these different departments, figure out what's going wrong and how they can make more money and go from there, right? So, me looking back at Georgetown, reflecting, like you said, but not regretting, it's like, I didn't like the job, but it taught me everything, bro.
You got paid to learn.
I got paid for experience.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Anybody working a 9 to 5, whatever you're doing, you know what I'm saying? If you start and look at what you have and start with what you have and where you are, and you build those resources, because you didn't just say like, I'm going to do this. Like, you're like, I need to save money to do it.
Right.
How do you get money from the start? You know what I'm saying? You got to work, so you can't just go off and be an entrepreneur right away. There's a way to do it. Like, we still have one foot in, we're both realms, right? Because that then pads it. You still get to learn more from your experiences, profit from there, but also go on and do things that you, try new ideas. And it's less risk then, you know what I'm saying? Because then if you fail, it's like, that wasn't the only thing you were doing. So there's some benefit to that too, but looking at your job differently, right? Look at your job differently. Don't look at it, it's on both ends, right? They hire you to do a job, and I think a lot of times we focus too much on like, they're not paying you what you're worth. Mm-hmm. Well, they can't. Any business can't.
Right.
If they paying you exactly what you bringing in, then what's the, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not gaining them any. So that's the business model, regardless of what business you work for. But how you flip it is, not only do you make money and save it up for a plan to fund something that you have in mind, but how you also do it is like, what can you tap into that you're learning at your current job?
Yeah.
Regardless of what job you do. I think I heard one dude, another podcast, he was talking about he worked at a restaurant and like serving tables. Mm-hmm. And he learned how to sell certain stuff because, you know, the more you sell, the higher the bill goes and you get a percentage of that anyway. So he worked on his sales game and how to communicate and then took that into his business. So it's like, regardless of whatever it is that you do, if you can perfect that and learn the skills that job has to offer, you can take that and put it on your own, into your own business and go from there and go up. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of value in that 9 to 5.
Yeah, man. And like you say, when you work for someone, like you said, like their job is to make as much profit as possible. So why would they pay you
Facts.
$300,000, which you're worth,
right?
And they could pay you 50.
Right. I think that's like the epiphany we had too when we was working. Like, hold up, you know, if we want to make some money, we're gonna have to get up out of here.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't get, because at the end of the day, it's not even just about the money, right? Like if you want the freedom that we looked at and watch other people have walking the streets of Georgetown, if you want that kind of freedom, doesn't mean you have to make the most, right? But if you want that, you got to run and be in charge of something. Yeah. And it's going to be a lot of work to do it, right? Yeah. But that has to be something to be said too about like, you start something, don't be too greedy, right? You still got to be profitable, right? But don't be too greedy. The most important goal, depending on what your goals are. Mm-hmm. But for my goal is like, it's not to make the most of everything because that's a never ending. Right, you be chasing it. So you're always chasing it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if you got everything covered and you're profitable and you're not having to do much, that's a good situation, right? You can spend free time to go do other stuff. So we've been putting in work for a minute, and I think like the route we're in is good. But tying it to On Deck too, not only is it needed for the exposure, but like it's exposing our community. It is here too, locally. Yeah. To something that's attractive to lure you in to then, you know what I'm saying? Actually, I might coming back again. Yeah. Actually, I'm pretty good at this. Let me keep going. And I think that is critical for our culture on deck. Like what you started for you and your son is now, for everybody in this area to benefit. And even outside of this area, for other people to watch and see like what's happening here with where 7% of African Americans is in the baseball league. Like I think stuff like this solves that larger problem, that what we need and that exposure that we all need. And even better, like an added bonus that your son plays baseball. I've watched you work him out here in the facility, where the workout facility, and here getting swings, and you employed him. Like you talking about Dane Dash was saying like, I can get my son a job, and that full circle now. Little Dre, when he's up here, he's about to go away to school, but he worked here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You actually employed him and did that from putting all of those stuff in play. Like you've actually lived that out through your son, created opportunity for him, but then also allow him to get as many reps in as he wants that directly impacts him. Exactly.
And, I got a couple of, and so what started out as something that I wanted to do something for the community, right? And I was like, all right, I can make a little bit of money. But honestly, realistically, when I first created this joint, I was like, I just wanted my bills to be paid, bro. You know what I mean? I just want to break even. Just pay the rent and I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? I'll figure the rest out. And I think that's you have to have some type of passion, right? Facts. When you're doing your entrepreneur or whatever, you can follow the money, but you have to have some type of passion, or you will be unhappy. You'll be just like you were in your 9 to 5 or whatever. And not to say that 9 to 5, you can't be passionate about your 9 to 5, because you can still be passionate about your 9 to 5.
Yeah, it can cut both ways depending on what you're doing.
Right. So, you know, like, I was just trying to do that, just trying to get bills paid or break even. And now I'm like, all the kids want to work here, right? They want, because they want to work here and they want to get their workout in, and I'm doing it. I'm like, yeah, you can work here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because my son, he can't work here 24 hours, you know, because he still plays baseball. He's still in school, so I employ, you know, I employed his cousin, and then one guy just hit me earlier. It was like, hey, you think I can get a job there? And I'm like, yeah, you can get a job here. It's going to be a real job. You know what I mean?
Right, you still have to work.
It ain't gonna be all, you know. Right. It's not a candy shop,
right.
But it's a real job. So I'm giving them that experience. I'm helping the community, and it's a profit behind it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm definitely blessed, and I'm just trying to bless others, bro. That's
man. It's real cool to see, man, and it's I mean, like I said, it's dope for all of those reasons, the immediate reasons, and then the bigger impact with like the exposure that it's given to our culture. Yeah. That's necessary and needed, and it's something else that's positive to focus on or add. Also, you know, I think about just the long-term benefits, right? Not only what that means for baseball only, but like that Bill Gates effect, right? Where like there's somebody that you've influenced that joined up, is doing baseball or taking it more seriously and taking it to the next level because of On Deck,
right,
and what you created.
Yeah.
So there's going to be people at the end of the day, man, years down the line, that's going to be like, yeah, On Deck.
Yeah.
Andre. Yeah. Because what you started changed the trajectory of a person and what they did and went off to do. So I think like there's going to be those stories that come up out of this years down the road, all just because of you making a decision. Yeah. And you made that decision based on the success that you've had back then in your mentality and what you know where you are at that time. And I think that's an important thing to note. Really, is that wherever you are, whatever you've been through or going through, or if you're accomplishing, like remember the definition of successful, two of them. The first one is accomplishing an aim or a goal. And that's the one that people don't really focus on. They focus on the second one that has to do about money. But if you're accomplishing, like if you set out to do something and you're doing it, you're successful. Yep. You know what I'm saying? If you realize that you're successful, then you won't really have to chase everything else that's out there that's going to distract you and make you feel less than, or make you feel less than enough that you don't go on and do more. That then breeds, you know, more insecurity. So it's like, starting with what you have now, tap into what you do well and build off of that, because all of this, like we're only in one of the buildings and there's so many other businesses that we ain't touch on. We ain't even touch on ours. That's going to be coming soon, so keep your eyes out on that. But like all of that comes from a decision and from confidence. Yep. And you get your confidence up, you make the decision and you go forward, and you be, you know what I'm saying? What Andre did, he told you the story where he came from, how he started up, the challenges along the way, the problems that he saw, and he made a decision, and now he's here. So he's really no different in all of us. You know what I'm saying? We all started there, and regardless of how old you are, if you make that decision now, then you can push forward. Yep. Yeah, man. What else you got? Anything else you want to share? Like, how do we find On Deck? How do we follow you on Instagram, or, you know what I'm saying, what's the website? Yeah, man. The website is ondeckdc.com. Instagram, ondeckpg, ondeckdc. Two Instagrams, ondeckpg and ondeckdc. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, website. I'm there, man. I'm out here. I'm at 9150 Edgeworth Drive and 9146 Edgeworth Drive. You can get your workout on. You can get your workout on 24 hours a day. You can go get your boxing on with my guy, the boxing guy, or you can come take some swings in, man. We got the video game aspect to On Deck, to the batting cage, where it shows you how far you hit the ball once you make contact with it.
And it's all a reasonable price, man. You know. Yeah,
man. Can we get the merch on there on the website too? How we get the merch? Or we come to the
you gotta come. Store? You gotta come inside. I got bats for sale, man. See these personal. You can get personalized bats. Can you see the bats? There you go. I want you to see the bat right here, bro. That joint me.
Yeah, that joint is me, bro.
That joint me, man.
Yeah, is this my bat?
Yeah, that's yours, G. That's yours. You can get a personalized bat. Customize those Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. We got hats, we got shirts, we got sweaters, we got everything, man. Just come support the boy.
That's what's up, man. Hey, that's what's up. So, hey, that episode, that's that. That's a wrap. Do me a favor, like, tap, comment, subscribe, come back. We out.
Holla.
Peace.